Hey, I'm Randolph Love III, public adjuster here in the state of Florida, public adjuster, insurance appraiser, expert witness, life coach specializing in startup coaching and business coaching. And today I'm going to talk about something that pertains to public adjusters, the dreaded release, right? Let's say you get a client, they sign your contract, you pass the 3 to 5 days of rescission, and they're your client, but for whatever reason, things might not be working out, or you might be overwhelmed. You got to release them. When I say things might not be working out, maybe you have a client that's unresponsive, a client that isn't following your directions. You tell them, hey, I can't stop you from talking to the insurance company, but at the very least, let me coordinate your conversations. But no, they don't want to hear that. They're having their own regular conversations with the insurance carrier while you're trying to help them work their claim. Or maybe you get a contract signed and you're in over your head. Maybe you don't have a mentor, a public adjuster mentor, or an expert, somebody that's either been doing this for a long time, or even if they haven't been doing it for a long time, you can tell that they really care about what they do, and they can somebody you can partner with. Now, of course, you're not going to get your full split if you're partnering with a mentor or an expert, but hey, you better to get 60% of something or 40% of something than 100% of nothing. That math makes sense to me. Getting a percentage of something instead of 100% of nothing, why would you take the latter, right? So that's one. You're in over your head, or you're dealing with a client that's uh, uncooperative, are some reasons why you might get a release. But let's say you're dealing with a situation where you've done everything. You set the claim up, you laid everything out, you produced the estimates, you got the experts, you've made sure all everything has been well documented, and now a client is saying, hey, and it might be one of those situations where you did your job so well, but the carrier, it might be in one of their ebb positions. People who've been in this industry for a while know that it seems like it's like an ebb and flow, to where sometimes the carriers just paying out money like they at Magic City, right? Or whatever your favorite a gentleman's club is, or sometimes they're just holding it back, just like they just. I don't care how right you are. I don't care if you show me any Florida statutes, any building codes, nothing. We're not paying. Sometimes you have to bring in an attorney, and hopefully you've built the relationship with and you set the expectations with your insured, be it a homeowner or a business owner. You let them know, hey, this is what you can expect. There are times where, not all the time, but there are times where we might have to take the litigation route, and that means bringing in an attorney. However, when I hand this attorney off this information, they should be able to use it to your ultimate benefit. So you might run into situations where you reach that point and the uh, insured is trying to make it seem like what you did isn't worth what your fee is, or they not now they want you to back out. I say do whatever you want to do in that situation. Me, depending on how much work I put in it, and what I know that this is a legitimate and reasonable claim, I only take legitimate and reasonable make legitimate and reasonable line items, and I only take legitimate claims, and I said in reasonable estimates. So if it's one of those situations, hey, I did this work. Let's collaborate. Let's work together. Because to be honest, if you took that client and now that client feels a certain way, it's somewhere where you failed. But that doesn't mean you should not get any benefit for any of the work that you did. But I'm talking about the first part where you're either you're overwhelmed, or you're in over your head, and you don't have that you and you don't, unfortunately, don't see the benefit of bringing in somebody that's more seasoned than you to maybe make a split so uh, you can make up for your knowledge gaps. All right, so today I'm showing y'all a release letter. So let me get this release. All right. So, and then this is an example of a release letter. Let me change this. But y'all get to see me what I'm doing. Now, if you look at this, I put in red the things that I manually will end up having to type. Now, even the email, there's a spot for the insured email, which I'll eventually change that. But I put in red the things that I know that I may have to manually type just so it'll bring it to my attention. And I put in this, whatever this type of blue is, the things that the Xactimate tokens get. Now, for people who are looking at this and they're wondering, what is this? If you're somebody that uses Xactimate, uh, once you put in these tokens and you load it up to the Xactimate, and you already have the Xactimate claim file created, all you have to do is click on that file in there, and it'll automatically populate the name of the insurance company, the name of the insured, the insured's address, the policy number, claim number, even email. But it's just not something that I normally type into Xactimate. I'm going to start doing that soon. But some things that Xactimate might not necessarily pick up is today's date, right? So you manually type that. Depending on what's going on, you might be helping a close friend, a family member, and you might give them a discount. Or if you're in the state of Florida like me, and you take the time to learn what you need to learn, you value your time, you value the effort that you put into this work, and it's not a state of emergency. You're charging 20% because you know you're going to get that insured, that value. If they're dealing with a homeowner, or not a homeowner, but with a public adjuster that's charging in a state like Florida, where the cap is 20%, or even in a state like Texas, where the cap is 10%, and you're competing with public adjusters that are charging 5%, you get what you pay for. Uh, if a public adjuster comes to you and says they're going to do 5%, and I say I'm going to do 20%, but when they finish helping you out, they were only able to find 10,000 in legitimate and reasonable damages, and I come in and maybe I find 50,000. Let's do the math. Uh, they only want 5% of that 10,000, so that's $500. Congratulations, uh, you were able to negotiate a better fee with the public adjuster, and now you're leaving the table with $9,500. Uh, or if I had that same claim and I found legitimate and reasonable damages, and I was able to maximize that claim to where, but I want 20% of that 50,000. Let's do the math. That's 10,000 that I want, of course. But when you take 50,000 minus 10,000, you get 40,000. Okay, in the front, you paid out more in the percentages. But if you got somebody that really knows what they're doing and they're able to legitimately maximize your claim, then you're going to make up for it. Even though it seems like you're missing out, you'll be gaining. And when you deal with the right people, and I specialize in Florida claims, I am the right people. So if you look at this, and if it's very simple, very clear. Dear Mrs. Insured, um, Mr. Insured, please be advised that Randolph Law Consulting LLC will no longer be representing your interests on the above referenced insurance claim with, oh, let me change that. That was because what I'm doing is I'm redrafting this letter, but I took it from an old claim that I had where the insured was with Security First, but the insured was unresponsive. Because before I proceed, I like to get buy-ins. and permissions. So you can't say that you didn't know what was going on. I believe that I'm going to be ultimately successful in helping you out, but uh, I need to know that you're on board with what's going on. So it was a claim where the insured wasn't responsive. I was looking for a response. A long time went by. I looked back, and the most that I did was I sent my contract and letter of representation to the insurance carrier. Didn't really get around to doing a lot. I think I might have produced an estimate for it, but I didn't really put in a lot of work into it. So I said, you know what? She's not responsive. When I look back, I didn't. Some of my time was wasted, but not uh, so much so that I was emotionally invested. I try not to get emotionally invested because that'll hurt you. But uh, I wasn't that emotionally invested because I hadn't invested a lot of time. I hadn't invested a lot of money. So I went ahead and sent this. Now, why? And let me just finish reading this letter and I'll tell you. So, insurance claim with Security First. I will not participate in any further negotiations, inspections, estimates, supplements, appraisals, or depositions on your behalf. If I am called to do so, this release will be voided and our original contract will be enforced to include my whatever percentage fee. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. And there's my number, there's my office, all that good stuff. So, uh, why would I do not just, all right, just let it sit? Because there's a chance of now, this is a situation where the insurance carrier is asking some specific questions. And if I expect the insurance carrier to respond to my questions in a timely manner, as their policy and Florida statute mandates, they can expect the same from me. Now, if I'm not able to respond because I'm not getting any feedback or any responses from my client, then I want to make sure that my character remains intact because you're going to see a lot of these same people every day, and people they can expect that when you're working with me, you're going to get regular communications. I'm going to respond to your questions in a timely manner. I believe in Florida, the statute is the PA has up to 30 days to respond to claim related questions, which is longer than the carrier who has up to 14 days. And this also applies to responses uh, to the insureds, to the public adjuster's client, the insurers as well. Which I never take that long, but I believe that's what it is. Do your due diligence, check for yourself. So that is letters of release. If you are wanting to find tokens, one of the easiest ways to find tokens is to go to this section right here in your parameter section, open statement, and you can click on edit, and then you click on this T, and a lot of these tokens will pop up related to things that you might include in your Word documents. And once again, the benefit of this is when you upload it to Xactimate, when you go inside somebody's file, as soon as you click on the Word document, it'll automatically pre-populate all of that information. Saves you a lot of time, a lot of effort, really automates what you got going on. And if you have an assistant that prints out documents for you, even though of course, you're going to go over what your assistant does, but eventually you're going to have to just trust it. You start scaling, you're going to have to find people to trust. The tokens helps your assistant out, and it also helps in reducing the amount of typographical errors, because let's say I have an assistant. If I'm being very aware and cognizant of how I'm typing in this information in my Xactimate file, I'm making sure all the names are spelled right. I'm making sure all of the addresses are spelled right. I took my time to put in all of that information whenever an assistant or yourself, even let's say you don't have an assistant, but you know you got to do, whenever you making a new document related to that file, you can rest assured that that pertinent claim information, that claim number, that policy number, all of that is going to be the same and is going to be correct because you took your time that one time and then you utilized the Xactimate tokens in order to produce all of your future documents. But let me get out, man. I'm going to have to learn how to make shorter videos. I have I have no idea how long this video is, but that was just me giving an example of tokens. And not tokens, but tokens were a part of it, but it was a part of the letter of the release. And one of the reasons why you might end up having to send a letter of release is if you're dealing with, and not one of, but some of the reasons, again, you're dealing with a non-responsive client, a troublesome client. You're in over your head and you don't have any public adjusters such as myself that you can reach out to and partner with in order to help this claim move along, because you rather get a percentage of something than 100% of nothing. Or it's a situation, and it's a, and let's say it's a situation where you did a bunch of work on, the client is unresponsive, you did a bunch of work on, and you feel like all of that work you did, that client is going to be able to take all that documentation and get a successful result. I'm with you. Listen, I did some work and I need to be compensated for that work. But if you can look back on your work that you did and you can honestly say you did not waste a lot of time. You wasted some time, but it wasn't a significant amount of time. Save yourself a headache. Save the hit to your credibility, because if these carriers are reaching out to you and you're not responding, what it looks like a few claims later where you send them a complaint for them not responding to you. Makes you look like a hypocrite, doesn't it? At least, and at worst, it can damage your credibility in a court proceeding or when assisting some of your other clients. So once again, I'm Randolph Love III. I'm a public adjuster. I'm an insurance appraiser. I'm an estimator. I host the Entrepreneurs Podcast, a place to hear real entrepreneurs and business owners bear it all. If you want to get any of that, go to rightlifecoach.com or go to randolphloveconsulting.com. Thank you for watching.